Okay, let's get back into this. Continuing our playthrough of Path of Exile, we just talked to Groost, who doesn't understand Helena's method of peace, but who cares because treasure.
The white beast's spirit is at rest. No more pain. Take this in thanks from me, and from the suffering animal that you have helped.
Okay, so we have a choice of Quicksilver Flask or a Rare Belt, which... yeah, let's go with the Rare Belt. We're not going to transition into Energy Shield just yet.
The spirit is strong in Felshrine. You touch the stones, you will feel it. They spoke to me, those stones. Told me to take their altar, and to find the hand of a good man. He lived in that church, as you call it. The altar is his, and it will wake when he touches it once more. You could find the good man. Bring me his hand. When the spirit of the altar awakes, I will share it with you. I promise.
Alright, so she wants us to go into the Felshrine and grab a hand.
I gave the Ebony Legion my faith and my loyalty, and it offered me nothing but fear and death in return. Thank you for freeing me from both. I have nothing to give you but my gratitude and my knowledge. I know you have no use for the former, so let's hope the latter makes up for it. Piety would have concurred with Eramir's theory about that northwestern ruin. The Val were a powerful civilization predating even the Eternal Empire, and Piety very much wanted to see what toys the Val might have left for her to play with behind those stone doors. Yet we couldn't budge them, not with that giant of a tree holding them fast in her roots. You now carry a cure to that problem, or rather a useful illness. Use the spike to inject the baleful gem's calibric extantia into the roots. One day soon, Piety will find her way into that ruin. You need to get there first.
Okay, so we've kind of linked together the fact that we need the gem
Journey
and
well.
the spike to remove the roots and poison the tree. I don't know, you have to poison it, but I don't know, plot stuff. But before we do that, let's go ahead and go to Helena in my hideout. I blocked off these stairs for a reason, Helena. I know, it's kind of like pointless. Excuse me, God. Why do they give you this great big area if you're only going to use like the 5x5 square? And it's because I don't like running to places.
All right. I've taken the liberty of performing a few tests. There are a few magical modifications the transmutia device can make that are safe every time. Try enhancing a piece of equipment now. Let's see if my results hold.
What does it matter?
All right. I've taken the liberty...
So like you can put whatever you want onto very specific items. So you'll see here, this maximum to life only works on shields, helms, basically every armor and accessory. It doesn't work on weapons. Curious to see what works with flasks. Nothing. Okay. So let's see what this rare belt is. Oof. That is a brutal, awful belt. Can we craft movement speed? No. We can craft basic resistances and life. So we'll just make this easier on ourselves, and we'll craft life onto these garbage rings that we have, maybe? I guess our strength belt is much better, so we'll just use that. Wow, we did it. We're a hero. Obviously, when you start getting into, like, real items, and I'm going to call them real items because, I mean, we were running around with regular white items, and it doesn't really affect our DPS that much. So, there's always going to be points where you want to make sure that you have the right gear on, but I've made it to maps with, like, blues on just because they had, like, a four link or something.
I could hardly hope for better results. Do note, the device needs special reagents to perform, so not all uses will be so easy.
Thank you. That was so difficult.
Journey well.
She will let us change our hideout if we choose. So I'm going to go ahead and stick her up there so we don't ever have to see her ever again. Alright, done. Oh, Voss. You're very, very close to the waypoint.
And so your path leads you here, Exile. Be careful where you step. For as one foot leads the other, so too does each foot leave its mark. A trace of what was, a guide to what will be.
Fascinating. So that, like I said, Navali now has the ability to let you trade in divination cards. You'll probably find them much later on. But what we can do is we can seek prophecies by giving her some of these silver coins. You don't, whenever you're crafting stuff, you don't actually have to have it in your inventory. You can just pull it straight out of your stash, which is nice. Every game should do this properly. That's not too shabby. Too bad we're not melee. I was gonna roll that, but we already have a belt, so who cares? Let's pull this. Okay.
For of shared flesh and blood, raise an army of borrowed blood and bone.
So the prophecy is the Brothers of Necromancy, and you'll see that you will encounter 4 necromancers with their undead minions and slay them all, which I assume will just end up being like a kind of a little bonus loot at the end. Either that or they'll just be like there in a really weird place and it'll be a pointless prophecy.
Let me tell
Let's
you
get one more.
They flee from the eyes of Oria, coated in gold from head to toe.
So we got the wealthy exile. So you will encounter and slay a rogue exile who only wears rare items. So when he says only wears rare items, he's going to drop basically whichever pieces that he drops are going to be a full set of rare gear. So at least that we can look forward to. Get some accessories or belt or something. So let's go to the Felshrine. Oh. Oh, so if you see here, you can see one of the necromancers. I really wish we had chosen a smaller area to complete this prophecy in, but we'll just run around quickly. A lot of this has like, I'll call it flavor text scattered about. I don't think. Oh. I think I was doing it on the outside of the floor, on this little like side area. Oh, I think there was something else in there, but I guess not anymore. So this is what I'm talking about. Etchings on the Wood 3.
The moon was full the night of the Black Storm. It is full again. They have come for me. They have come for my daughters. Bravalo called out while the others skulked and muttered in the darkness. Corrin went to them, arms open, welcoming. The nightmares told her to. My uncle tried to stop her. Bravalo crushed his skull with his smith's hammer. I barred the doors and windows, but they screamed like monkeys and beat themselves bloody trying to get in. I had no choice. I took my 2 youngest and fled through the cellar, following the tunnel to the mill. All we can do is hide and hope. God help us.
I've never figured out what this actually has to do with anything. I think it's just like one-off text, which is why I've always been a little reluctant to read it, maybe. Guess we can find out what happens in 4.
3 Lunari gone now since it all began. Perhaps I am the only one who still looks upon Lunaris, who remembers her name. Soon, I will be gone, and the moon will go on alone. My husband has returned, and he hunts for me. My dead husband hunts me. Corin, too, and my uncle. Corpses rise and walk and feed. My girls, they walk now and feed. God has forsaken us. Lunaris is my witness. Tonight, I return to my family.
Still have no idea who Tanny is. So it's 4 necromancers, so this is 3.
Just need a moment to catch my breath.
See if we can't quickly find the others. I mean, it's a nice little, like, side story, I guess. About how the dead have consumed all. I mean, if you think critically about it, let's see if we can get away from these mobs for a sec. This is what's hunting you. Slow, poorly AI-driven mobs who you can kite for days. Simple peasants. That's all they ever were. Oh. So if you see there, this is the Herald of Lightning. It's neat, I guess. I don't really know if I want to seek out the rest of this prophecy. It wasn't too exciting to begin with. If I just run around and throw this on the floor, it will do all the work for me. I don't think there's anything in this area worth reading. In, like, when the game first came out, like, this was the, like, de facto area to farm all the time. And now that they've kind of, I don't know what the proper way to call it is, fixed the game so that you're not just running the same 4 acts over and over again. There's 10 fully fleshed out acts. I don't know. I don't think I'd ever want to come back here. You get to see the tile set in, like, maps, but that's about it. Okay, we'll check out this text. I think it's right next to the cathedral, though. Oh, I hear a ghost. Somewhere. Somewhere. Somewhere? Get out of here. Wherever that ghost is, I've missed it completely. Oh. Come back. Come back. Come back. Pick this up. Although, the one thing I noticed we haven't gotten a lot of, a surprising lack of wands.
On this day, the second Sacrato of Verusi, 1334 IC, the army of purity remembers its most devout and beloved servant, Archbishop Geoffrey of Frisia. As spoken by Geoffrey, only will and truth can prevail over the evil of our own kin. High Templar Vol, commander of the Army of Purity.
Trying to storyline. Rude. Don't interrupt. Rude. God, it was the days of good Mad TV and good SNL. Bon Qui Qui. So old. So old. Come on, that's not a door. That is just a wall. It's nothing. Great. Fantastic. Maybe what I think we'll do, instead of just trying to find an item, is we can go through and craft, or at least throw an alk on one. That's what I mean by crafting. We'll throw alks on ones because we're kind of still like poverty-driven hobos. The road is my house, and the grass is my bed. Okay, let's try and not get riggedy rolled this time, okay?
How can I help? You and I were the only ones that made it to shore. Alive, anyway. This place is crawling with criminals. Find something you can defend yourself with.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the clear speed of this skill. But I think it's, I don't know what a better way of putting this is, like, serviceable. This one was easy. Now to mop up the trash. Now, you now have the maximum number of unplaced memory fragments. Visit the Nexus to place a memory. Okay. We can do that. I'm sure we won't die horribly. We're gonna die horribly. Is that it? Pick up some of the nicer stuff that we can reroll. Quartz wand, 20%. I'll take it 20%. You can always, like, identify these things. Lousy auto placement. Okay. So we'll go to the Forgotten Nexus. Memory Nexus. Well, first we'll go to Kvass and we'll sell some junk, because everywhere is a vendor. So, we have gotten absolute garbage on these rolls. So we don't have to sit and think about whether or not we're going to put this on. We are going to hold on to this, obviously, just because we can throw stuff in the memory blender. I think we have 3 chest armors, so let's use the memory blender. Oh, 4. I want to be alive. Alright, blender. Give me something good. Ooh, unidentified. Ooh, shouldn't have been identified. It's not worth the wisdom scrap we put into it, or the wisdom scroll. One more time, double or nothing. What? Come on. I guess synthesized makes a bigger difference. Like, we straight up royally failed on this.
Oh.
Is it vendor for more? Nope. Pure garbage. I think it's probably gonna have to do with the eye level of the gear that you throw into it. So I won't be too upset about the whole situation. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so usually when we're looking at something, like turning this into a rare item, before all you used to do is just go to your Orb of Alchemy. Another thing that you can do when you have higher eye level stuff is you can transmute it and then re-roll it with alterations until you get the good base modifiers that you want, whether you're focusing on attack speed, whether you want maybe a good physical damage roll. You can roll it and then use something like, I think it's a regal, to turn a magical item into a rare. Yes, that's the path it takes. And then of course you can do things like there's diviners and I'm trying to remember the other one now. Blessed, where you can either re-roll the implicits or re-roll the explicit mods. So an implicit mod would be the 22% increased spell damage. The explicits are the ones that are below. Good. That's probably as good as a crash course as you're probably going to get. So, for example, if you want to just take a white to a yellow, you could use an Orb of Alchemy. If you want to do more of a targeted rare, you can go with something like this. So this will automatically put a roll of 10 to 19 extra spell damage onto this Quartz Wand, which, I don't know, is decent enough. We don't have to worry about getting a garbage roll like physical damage. So we like that. Normally you'd buff it up, get it higher up, but we don't really care at this point. So we got a pretty decent roll. So we got a 13%. We still got physical damage, of course, but we have a 33% spell damage. So we can replace our old natty garbage. Yeah, that's probably okay. And we'll just throw this because we're hoarders. Let's fix our potions. Yeah, I think that's good. I'm not doing too much inventory Tetris, if you're wondering. Yes, my inventory does look like crap. But we're doing a story playthrough. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff so early on. So let's go south. Is there like a... Is there a way to figure out which one goes where? There we go, see? Oh. So we can either do this one, or we can do this one. I think if we want to go that way, though... I guess it doesn't really matter, because we're just going to be stuck here. Let's always... Maybe we'll commit now. We won't leave a path closed off. Okay. So I'm going to be a little careful, because I don't want to die. So this is level 17, we're level 22. I'll be just a little bit scared. Oh, the initial volley. Everything's fine. Nothing's wrong. Oh, that's not an interactable object. That's something that's going to get me killed. What? See, it's so safe. You just throw it down and let people walk through it. Just the way... Nothing like I don't know. Maybe brave gameplay isn't the way to call it. Fun, but boring. So we need to figure out which mob is keeping all those guys invincible. the Grand Life flasks, so we have 3 properly leveled flasks. And usually you can do things like make your flasks magical. It's not something that you really have to focus on too early, unless, I don't know, if you're afraid of dying. I guess that's probably a good reason to maybe focus on it a little bit more. I'm liking that all these areas are very static. So let's check out that armor area. So we'll throw this down. What's going down? It's just not very populated. That guy shot laser beams like Iron Man. Items collected by the decay will be moved here. I guess that was fun and exciting. Is that, oh my. Okay. I guess we'll... the hell out. Oh, okay, so it starts to open up more and more. Contains memory modifier. Let's, but it's pointing in like a really weird direction. I'm liking that we have very many options now. Let's, yeah. Maybe we'll do this later. Go back to the original Nexus. We were here to do something else and then we got sidetracked. What's up?
Yes, that was wonderful, Exile. For a brief moment I felt whole again. Here, let me try something. Hello, Exile. My name is... Oh dear. I thought maybe... but no. Well, perhaps we can try it again. Though the machine seems to keep the memories more stable, they still degrade. Keep that in mind, because I'm not so sure I will be able to. Oh.
This expansion is Alzheimer's the game. And I know that's such a terrible thing to say because, I don't know, I've had family members get Alzheimer's. It's not fun. It's not fun to watch or see. Dementia, anything that affects the brain is just rough. You don't wish it upon anybody. Hopefully when we all become, I don't know, meat robots, maybe things will be easier. Okay. It's nice. We always crit, so we'll always have this, like, thunder up. Just trying to dash quickly. Try and keep this crit buff up as long as possible. I don't know if we need 3 health potions. I think I might substitute one for this Quicksilver flask. Ooh, reduced charge used. So, I guess the one thing that you might be able to consider is there's a difference between no, not really. So, like, for a second there, I was literally going to tell you that there's a difference between a potion and a flask. But I don't know if just at some point that changed. But anyways, like, so you can roll different modifiers on each of these. Yeah, I'm just completely... just ignore me. I basically started the sentence saying that these are different. But kind of they just can have different modifiers. Like these ones will roll the ability to increase healing by a specific amount, whereas non-healing flasks can roll like roughly the same number
at the
of
the faithful and the faithless alike.
I don't have any gems to
Fear of the
say what
unknown,
I
fear
want
of
to
the
do.
future. An empire requires leadership that can assuage those fears through example, through wisdom, through strength. An emperor lights the way through the darkened caverns of uncertainty.
Not so difficult. So, what I meant to say before I got
boldly, so that all may find you
before I got tangled up in my own words, like a champ, is that, for example, like yeah, these Quicksilver flasks will never be able to roll additional healing, right? So this is a Val dungeon. So you'll see that it's kind of like running a gentle map. So players have elemental equilibrium. So when you hit with an element, mobs will gain, I think it's 50% more resistance to that one. No, 25% more resistance to that target, to that one element, and then minus 50 to all other elements. And obviously, if you hit them with 2 elements, it doesn't stack up. It just makes you less effective in 2 elements. Freezes you when active. So, like, when you're fighting mobs that might be able to one-shot you, you might want to think twice before just recklessly opening up anything you choose. But it's okay. We'll live on the edge for now. Until we die a terrible, terrible death. We'll just throw some ice down. And then face off against the Val Dungeon boss. Who is a spitter, who is not doing a very good job. And so the Val Vessel will contain a bunch of stuff, usually a bunch of corrupted rares, so yellows, Val gems, pieces of Heidi's map. So the more you get to it, the more you get to see it. They've greatly increased the amount of Heidi maps pieces that drop. There's a couple that used to be more rare. But now they're just, I don't know, maybe slightly uncommon. Because, yeah, piety used to be, like, I don't know, the end-all for, like, good boss runs. And now she just kind of, like, barely scrapes the surface in terms of difficult content. So let's grab this fist. Try and stay on track here. I think Conk is good damage for bosses. I don't know if it's probably going to be the way to go for clear speed. In all honesty, yeah, I kind of wait to see what one of the other skills I wanted to use. It's like Divine Ire. It kind of shoots like a frontal shock pattern in a cone in front of you. That I'm hoping is going to be the better clear speed. I don't think we need to do any sort of prep anymore. Oh, Chaos Orb. Do we have a transmute for this one this time? Oh, we do. So we take a regular transmute, or a regular strongbox into a trapped one. It improves the loot that comes out. Sadly, we got the bad modifier and not the good modifier. So usually a good modifier will be like increases chest level by 5, increases the amount of loot that can drop. Sometimes if you find different sorts of strong boxes, like there's one that contains only divination cards, there's ones that contain only gems. So like for the gems one, it can contain just support gems, which is good and bad if that's the kind of stuff that you're targeting. Gems have become kind of too easy to get, and so before, where a level 20 quality 20 gem would have cost you maybe like, I don't know, probably ballpark like 40 chaos, and we're just like rolling in chaos now. You can get it for next to nothing. Usually the high end you'll probably see maybe like 15. If it's in high demand, then maybe it'll be more. Yeah, forget Chukavas. We don't need them. We have too many memory fragments as it is. Okay, so we get to talk to Yina. Give her the hand we just picked up. An open palm raised in peace, cut down by the slaves of war. Give me money.
You are Dream Tender, my new name for you. Badness is everywhere around us. You bring us something good.
Badness.
Now, I promise to share. Let us awaken the spirit. Bring even more good into this life.
Badness isn't a word, Yina. I am disappointed. All these are kind of meh. We'll just take this because, I don't know, I guess it beats having an empty slot in our inventory.
Be well.
That's a good reason, right? Okay, so let's inventory Tetris off screen, and when we come back, most of these aren't even part of it. We have 2 more bandits to kill, and then we are proceeding to beat Act 2. So I don't think we're gonna have much more than just Act 2 to deal with after this point. So stay tuned, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.